You're watching Local Edition. My name is Brad Pomerance. Thank you so much for joining us. Our guest is Kenna. Kenna is a Grammy-nominated musician and an activist looking at the issues of water and the water crisis in our world. It is amazing, Kenna, how we take for granted something as simple as water.
Sure.
Talk to us about how dramatic the water crisis is in our globe.
You know, it's interesting because we don't really pay attention to it, and I think it's actually time when we have to switch from being activists to actionists. You know, I think we don't recognize it because we have it in our tap and we have it in the showers, but 1 billion people in the world, 1 billion plus people don't have clean water, and what people don't realize,
it's like 15-20%.
Yeah, and considering that 11 million of those people live inside of America, which is even more interesting, that people don't realize that. It's a huge problem. I think Elizabeth Gore from the UN Foundation gave me a way to put it. She said, if you can imagine a 747 jet full of children smashing against the ground every 2 hours of every day for the entire year, that's how many people die from waterborne illnesses, which is preventable.
I just got chills thinking about it, and I'm reminded, I recently saw a news magazine program that was focusing on the water crisis in Indonesia.
Right.
And they showed us how the local river is the tap water, it's the sewer, it's where they clean, it's where they brush their teeth. I can't even imagine, aside from the sanitation, just what that does to the psyche, what that does to your body.
Yeah.
It is so unfortunate and so tragic. I understand you actually have a personal connection to the water crisis.
I do.
You may have a perfect American accent, but you're actually Ethiopian.
Right, I am.
And tell me about your father.
Well, I mean, my dad, as a young boy, contracted a waterborne disease. And suffered with it for about 10 years, and people in his village died. It was a traumatic experience for him, and I didn't realize it was a problem until a few years ago when he came and said he wanted to dig a well in Ethiopia, and he had saved $10,000. He's a professor, so saving $10,000 is a big deal.
It's a lot of money. Yeah. It's a lot of money for anyone, frankly.
Yeah, it is. And so he really impressed it upon me, and I learned a great deal about it. And what I realized most about the water crisis is that it's a domino effect. I think just recently Obama and the administration has actually decided to focus more on prevention. For example, instead of focusing heavily on HIV, or I think not any less, but just more on prevention, as well as on prevention. And the reality is that if you don't have clean water, then you're in search of clean water. You're spending 6 miles a day or 6 hours a day searching for water. That means that women and children are actually exposed to the elements. They're getting raped, they're getting robbed.
I was thinking about that. I mean, you talk about Africa and you look at places like Chad, Darfur, the Congo, where there's so much civil strife that women and children have to go find water, like you say, and just to find a basic need like water, they are subject to rapes and murders and the horrors that Central Africa is facing today. It's so dramatic. You are actually putting your money where your mouth is and your body where your mouth is, and have gotten involved, or really launched Summit on the Summit, which is a trek up Mount Kilimanjaro to call attention to the water crisis. Why have you decided to do this? I mean, you could just write a check, man. You know, you're a successful guy.
Yeah, you know what? I think, like I said before, it's about action and being an actionist. And I think this climb is a representation of doing something extreme to highlight something that's extreme that's happening in the world. When you realize that people don't have clean water and they have to literally choose between washing their clothes or eating, you start to realize that you have it really great, and you need to figure out, if you're in the top 1% of the world, you need to do something to help the rest of the world.
If you want to learn more about what Kenna's doing, you can go to his website. It's summitonthesummit.com. Kenna, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. For Local Edition, my name is Brad Pomerance. Back to CNN HLN.
At Charter, we know that home really is the perfect place to be, which is why we remain committed to bringing you the best, most reliable services for less. Our family of 16,000 will continue to deliver great entertainment and keep the millions of families we serve connected to the things that matter most. We look forward to bringing your home to life, now and in the years to come.